Alright, here we go, another update. So, don't know if you can tell, you're looking at the front. Kind of reminds me of a fridge. Well, fridge freezer anyway. Now worth pointing out, this is not finished. This is not the final rock video. I've still got to paint all of it, sand parts of it, clean up most of it. But it's looking good, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a tour. So the top's on, you already knew that if you looked at the previous videos. As you can see, here it is. Comes complete with unnecessary accessories. Oh hey, look at that workbench, because I've been working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. It's worth pointing out I'm not at work today, so it's my day off. So obviously, time to make more videos. Now, I don't know if I've shown you guys this in any real detail, but I'm going to show it to you now. All right done. Off to a good start. Anyway, bloody door stays shut. Suspicious. Anyway, get back to it. The roof. Well, that lifts up. Oh, that's all right. It's the material knocking it. I've already damaged some of the phone. So this is the top. This is inside. Now, as you can see, not for a fan. It's worth pointing out that is actually spinning at max speed at the moment, but the camera doesn't pick it up quite as quickly as that. Back of the connectors that are on the front. Again, as you can see, acoustic foam in the top for assisting with the sound deadening. Now, if I shut that lid and come around the back, air vent here. Now, the astute, one of the words, of you will have noticed the gap this end is much more than this end. Now, my plan is to clean up this edge and make them roughly the same size. When it gets installed, this side of it is actually going to be up against another cabinet and technically also the wall. So actually having it slightly smaller this end is actually a good thing, because there'll be nothing on this side, so you want the air to come out here. But I can feel a breeze coming out of there. And we'll just go like this. You know, I haven't got any tubes or any lights in there, so you can't see the air, but you can see there's a gap. That is going to be cable out, cables in. Front or cover's not on it yet. I've got the cover, just haven't done it because it's not worth me doing until I've painted. The side you've already seen, and that's the very naughty front door. So let's get on with it then, okay? Bottom, top of the doors. So, top door. So it's a bit of a pain. This one doesn't like to stay sealed because I've still got to do a bit of cleanup. Okay, so that's the door. As you can see, you've got material there. Helps deaden the sound. You've got my top compartment here. Use focus. Top compartment here. With my, looks like it's rapidly flashing, but it's not. It says 12.1 volt voltmeter and my dual charging USBs. 2.1 amp apparently. So that'll be nice and speedy for charging up certain devices. Fan controller. Currently, as you can see, everything is maxed out. I will tune it a little bit if you will once I get in there, and then just a platform for resting things on. So logic will be if I want to charge my phone on my USB, put the phone there, cable into there, done. And this will also give me access to the top half of the cabinet, which is here. Now you can see here, these are the rails for the big main server, if you want to call it that, or my PC. I've started cable tidying, as you can sort of see in the background there, but as you can see, it hasn't been complete yet because you've got this all dangling here and looking like an absolute mess. But what you can also just about see is the magnets. These hook into standardised little bits of metal. They just hold the door shut. They're a bit weak, but when you're spending like £1.50 and getting all of these, what do you expect? Same goes for the hinges. Focus camera, there you go. Bit weak, but they do the job quite nicely. I have gone a little bit overkill with the amount. I have, admittedly, the wife pointed this out to me because she's much smarter than me, used the wrong screws, so I've had to dig out, if you will, scratch out, chisel out, sand out, pick any term you fancy, it doesn't make a lot of difference to me. Some of the material here so that it will sit a lot flusher, and it does, which is great. But one of the other things that I've done, you see the switch, it's only cable tied in. I haven't decided if I fully like the location, that's why. Now this controls the feed, done, into my cathode tubes. So you've got black light or UV light, however you like to word it, and then like a pinky red. Now, as you can also see, look, one of them's fallen on that fan and stopped it spinning. Good to know that they won't blow themselves out if anything does fall on them. But anyway, so they're going to go up. I'm envisioning doing something like red at the front on both sides, like in here to give a bit of a glow, and then the other ones at the back. I'm mainly putting them in because I've got them. They're from a previous build 5 or 6 years ago, but also because I thought, well, a little bit of light wouldn't do any harm in here, as long as I can just use this switch to turn it off. You can see it does turn them off independently of the fans. Anyway, so let's shut the door. I've also got a handle that I will eventually put on this, just for convenience sake, but at this stage, no handle. And then you've got this smaller one down here. Now this was a bit different, because if I pull on this side, nothing. I've got to do it from this side. Okay. So it's the same hinge and magnet setup. As you can see, I've used 2 magnets at the bottom, just because I only had one left. So I was like, well, if I've only got one left, might as well use the one I got left. It's a bit of a tighter fit in here, so I've still got a bit of clean up to do. As you can see, it's a bit raggy here. I actually ran out of the sound deadening materials, so these are the offcuts I've been saving, have been recycled. And at the bottom down here, that panel at the back is for the UPS, as I believe you're already aware. So my UPS will be hanging there, and then I'm hoping, dependent on depths and things, to get the switch in, well, basically here. That's going to go in the bottom 2U somewhere, and then I'll have the NAS PC above that. Again, this all comes down to sizing. I haven't worked out the exact sizes. I've got the flexibility, so it's not the end of the world. And I've also got this little shelf here, just point out quickly. Now this is bolted in, as you can see. Ooh, cheeky. You've got your 4 bolts here. There's little tiny L brackets, same as I've been using elsewhere. But what I've done with the L brackets underneath, let's go down and look. Aha! So they are screwed in. So what this bracket is doing is, one, it helps keep the side here in, which is always good, but also it gives me another little platform just to sit something on here if I need to. So let's say we've got the NAS PCs here, and I'm just doing a temporary backup or a periodic backup onto an external hard drive. I can put that right there. Just sit it there, shut the door, leave it running, and then come to it when it's finished. You can also see that I've put a load more acoustic foam in here. So that's the base acoustic foam wise pretty much done. I will try and fill up some of these other areas with a little bit more, but at this stage I'm not too worried about it. What I want to do next is get these big side panels insulated. And that's pretty much it. There's another bit, look, I need to cut this off for later on. I just haven't bothered yet because it's not been necessary. So there's still a fair amount of work to be done, but it's safe to say that it's actually coming together now. We're actually at a stage where if I needed to, I could spend about another hour on this and then it would be ready to go. So that puts me in quite a good mood. Yippee! See, good mood. So that's it really. Just thought I'd give you a bit of an overview as where we're standing right now. And then that shuts. As you can see, look, these edges don't line up. I'm going to try and sort of taper this off a little bit, but you know, it's a DIY project, it's not a proper build. So, might as well accept that it's never going to be perfect, especially not on a prototype like this. Ooh, car. Anyway, so there you go. That's it. Might as well be honest about my mistakes. So as you can see that, it's kind of gone backwards a few stages. It's got no walls. That is bad. But, as you can also sort of see, it is upstairs, which is good. Now, what we've got over here is a side panel. You're thinking, well, why are the side panels off? Because side panels don't do a good job when they're off. Well, let me explain. I finished this best part of a week ago. It's been a bit delayed for me doing this video, so I do apologise. And I brought it up. Fantastic. And I put it in here. This is where it's going to live. And there was a gap about that big at the top that didn't exist down the bottom. And the reason for this, well, there were two reasons for this. One, Number one. Downstairs where I built this cabinet, the floor isn't particularly level. But in my opinion, that's mine, as in behind the camera, hi, I build it level. The problem is if you build something level on an unlevel floor, it's actually unlevel. So all of these brackets were tightened up incorrectly. So I had to take it all to pieces, loosen them all off now that I've got it on an actual level floor, and redo it all from scratch. Yippee! The second reason, that's number two. If you look at the holes on the back, can I get both of them in frame so you can actually see both the holes? Hang on, move back with more. Back it up, you fat geet. Alright, you see these two holes? So you've got one here, and then you've got one over here. There it is. Those two holes were the original holes that I used for holding the top on. As you can sort of see, they don't line up with the new holes. And the reason they don't line up with the new holes is I actually cut this wood wrong. I cut it to be sort of rectangular, if you will, for down on the wrong floor. To give you another indication, if we look at this side, you can see you've got this one, and then this one. And this is in ever so slightly from these two. And that is to make it level. And if you look on this side, this one's out ever so slightly. Because the bottom was pretty close, but the top had the big old gap in it. Now, there was one other thing that I did wrong, so that means there's actually 3 things that I got wrong. So as we're playing be honest and truthful and don't be a naughty boy, I'll tell you about that one too. Don't worry, I'm in the process of tidying all this wiring up. This top part up here, in fact if I do a side on, we'll go underneath, look at that, oh underneath. See all those washers? That'll balance it out. The top was actually 1/2 centimetre narrower than the bottom. So that meant that, although everything still fitted in fine, because there's enough leeway in it all, it actually meant that I couldn't, well I could put the panels back on straight, but they weren't really straight because I'd have to space the panels out on the edges here using the bolting mechanism I've got up, which for those of you who haven't seen the previous videos, let's try and find a good example. Where is it? I've got a few spare, let me show you one. Well, we'll use the actual live ones that we've got down on the ground over here, spinning around. Move out of my way. Sorry. Which is this. So what you've got here is you've got a connecting part here, then bolt and nut there with a washer. So what I could have done is just effectively loosen that one up to somewhere near the middle here and had it going a bit further forward. But that would have left me with a rather large and unsightful gap, which I did not want. So adjust the metal, adjust the back, adjust the holes, adjust everything, and you're away. So hopefully now I've got it sorted and I can put the sides back on and check everything is nice and neat, and then we'll be done.